I've known David Fincher for many years. We worked in the Matt department back in ILM back in the 80s on such films as Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom, and some of the Star Trek movies, and I think the last Star Wars, the Revenge of the Jedi as well.
We got involved with Zodiac, having worked on a number of commercials and music videos with David, and really were a test bed for a lot of the things that David wanted to do, both digitally and using CG, different techniques. In a lot of ways, he kind of trained me with how he wants to work, and looking at Zodiac, there's some things that were just a really good fit, and we'd done together before, and so it made sense.
And Zodiac is not a visual effects picture in the sense that a summer tentpole movie would have thousands of visual effects shots. We're going in very strategically to make very realistic shots, maybe 50 shots, something like that for us. But our job is sort of to take one of those 50 shots, though, and each one of those is like 100 normal shots, because it has to have so much detail and information in it that it looks realistic and credible to the audience as a real place.
Man, you really creeped us out.
The overall approach would be that there aren't any effects. When the viewer sees these murders happen, because they really did happen, you want to feel, wow, I mean, these people really died, and it's gruesome, it's horrifying, and you just want to kind of look away, and it's not a pretty thing. So our job was to make those murders as realistic as possible. David doesn't like to shoot with squibs or any type of practical blood because he wants to be able to do lots of takes, and he didn't really want the resetting time. So we did many takes with the couple in the car with the intention of adding the actual bullet hits, the bullet flare, spattered bone, blood, and minutia in the car, even on the seat, smeared against the seat. Afterward, once David had the takes and the way the cut worked, so it all kind of tied together. David went back and shot the murder, shooting the gun on blue screen, and then we added him back in. And little things that come up editorially that maybe aren't working right, we're able to just drop back in. So that was our job, to add all the effects type. Traditional stuff you would shoot with afterward.
San Francisco is almost a character in the movie. We have this beautiful shot of flying over the water, tilting up to reveal San Francisco from the late 60s, 70s. So all the front of the waterfront had to be reestablished. And originally I figured that we would probably go out and shoot a helicopter plate, but the whole waterfront looks so different today that we couldn't even keep that front edge. So it really got to be to the point of, let's just make this as a complete CG shot, a complete environment. I was first nervous about that because this is going to be the most demanding type of shot you could do. It's not at night, it's during the day. The lighting is from the left, it's in the morning, you see everything. There's no places to hide anything, it has to be right there. So the first thing we did was to take the Viper camera and go over to Treasure Island, which is right across from San Francisco, and we just photographed the city with longer lenses and wider lenses just to get a sense of what you would see from that reveal. It told us what we had to mimic. David wanted a beautiful, bright blue, sunny day as a way to contrast some of the horror of the other sequences at night. So we tried to make it look very beautiful and very idyllic. Our friends at Tweak did the water element for us. They're experts in water, and we like to collaborate with them on shots sometimes. There's a ferry boat that we have with diesel coming out of it, a wake for the front of the boat. There's the flags of all nations, of course, that are right on the ferry building. There is, of course, traffic moving all through the city because this is in the morning, so it's during the commuter hours. We have people walking on the docks. I think we even have some people fishing on the docks. Seagulls and pigeons taking off in the background. The clouds are moving dimensionally. There's some perspective to that. That shot you start at the beginning of the show and you're still working on it all the way up to the end because there is always something more you could put in.
Somebody else is here.
It is a public park.
At Lake Berryessa, David wanted a sense of we were almost a voyeur looking at this scene about to happen. So we shot some elements and put it in front of the camera, almost like you're shooting through the grass, and being able to obscure the Zodiac when he's walking up with some strategically placed pieces. So you're not sure what you saw, or is that a guy in a mask, or what is that? David didn't even want anyone there. He did many takes with this girl and trying to get that performance where it's spine tingling. And that's certainly what he delivered to us. And then we had to add the knife blade because they had a retractable blade on set, and add the puncture wound and the blood. Tracking the blood in obviously was the biggest challenge there. And when it's all put together, it's fairly horrifying. That's the hard part, I think, about working on a movie like that. That you watch it and you go, wow, that shot looks great, and you really look at it and go, wow, that's how they really died. And it's hard. It's hard to watch.
Most of the time we're doing shots that are supposed to help the narrative. You want to create an image that looks realistic so that Dave can tell a story without the audience noticing that you're viewing a visual effect per se. Every once in a while we get the opportunity maybe to create a shot that's a little different or a little bit unusual. An example of that is our taxi cab shot. When we're following the taxi cab looking straight down, David wanted us to follow the taxi so that as it turned the corner, the relationship to the top and the bottom of the frame wouldn't change to the taxi, making a very unusual camera move, something that you couldn't do very easily with a helicopter or practically. And the idea was that camera move was supposed to be odd, make you feel uncomfortable. What you have to do when you create a shot like that is mimic all the things you would expect to see on a busy San Francisco street at night. So we had to have people crossing the streets, out walking their dogs, coming in and out of buildings. All the lighting had to look realistic in the sense that light comes from the different buildings and falls on the street. The taxi cab, any other cars, has to move through those pools of light. All that simulation has to be created to look realistically. The people in those shots are all our employees at Matt World that we photographed by taking the Viper camera on our roof and having them walk on a blue screen in the parking lot. We then tracked them into the various shots, and that was kind of fun for us to do as a way to kind of author the shot by putting all of us into the shot. Once you create that environment, of course, you have a lot of control on how it looks, and you then have